This program is brought to you by Community Trust Bank, Medical City, Bid Select, and the Neely School of Business at TCU. Welcome to Platforms, the life-lifting news program for women. Now, here's your host, Shivaun Palmer.
Hey, welcome everybody to Platforms, the life-lifting news program for women. I'm your host, Shivaun Palmer. My first guest is Ms. Fritzi Woods. She is the president and CEO of Women's Food Service Forum. She's also chairman of Prime Source Food Service Equipment, which is the 10th largest food service equipment distributor in the industry. She serves on both private and public equity advisory and community boards, and she is a member of Young Presidents Organization. And lastly, she's a proud mother of 5 children. Fritzi, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Okay, we're talking with my 4 rock star businesswomen this week. Why don't we start at the very beginning? Talk about how you got into the food service industry initially.
I initially got in because I had left the media business where I'd served as the executive vice president over sales and marketing, and at one point I was the chief financial officer there. And I decided I wanted to run my own company. Wanted to leave the media business here in Dallas. Actually, was
well,
at the
tell
Dallas.
me about that. What media were you involved with?
I was a part of the Belo Corporation. I came to Belo. That's what brought me to Dallas in 1997. I was the VP of Internal Audit, and then I moved over as their Chief Financial Officer. Then a year later, I was asked to run sales and marketing, so I did both jobs for a couple of years.
So you're right and left brainer there. That's neat.
Yes, I'm a recovering CPA. I love the sales and marketing end of it, and then I decided I wanted to actually run my own company, and it was actually a relationship that got me involved with Prime Source. One of my mentors and friends was on the board there. I had actually served on his board of his company here in Dallas, and they were looking for someone to run the company. I wanted to actually run the company and have equity, so I bought the majority share as a part of my agreement with them. It was a turnaround, and that was in 2003. We've had a great experience there. It was I've learned a lot about running a company. Be careful what you ask for.
That's right.
I really didn't understand what I was asking for, but it's been fabulous. And then this last year in May, I stepped down as CEO and brought in a new president, or promoted a gentleman, and I went on to now be president and CEO of the Women's Food Service Forum.
It's fantastic. Before we talk about that, where did you get your business acumen as a young girl when you were growing up? I know you're from a large family. I think you're one of 10 children, correct?
I am. I'm the 7th of 10 children. Both of my parents were educators, but with 10 children, you can imagine, and on a teacher's salary, they had to do other things to supplement so they could feed us. So we grew up on a farm, and we actually raised peas and corn and cucumbers, and as a young child, my father had this agreement with us that we would raise the product, and 60% would go to the kids and 40% would go to the house. And so at a very young age, I learned how to count because I wanted to be able to calculate my share of profit.
So you were an entrepreneur at a young age and you didn't even know it here?
I did not know it then, but I enjoyed having my own money. So as you can imagine, with 10 children, my parents taught us great financial responsibility. But I just loved, I loved organizing, and I loved, quite frankly, having a say in the rules of the house. So I enjoyed it at the time. I didn't know that meant I wanted to be an entrepreneur. At the time, it probably just I wanted my way.
Talk about a little bit about Prime Source, that you're chairman of the board now. How is that company ranked 10th in the industry, which is remarkable? It's a very large industry, food services. So how did it get to that point under your leadership?
Well, the good thing for me is I got to be an entrepreneur by buying into a company. I am not a person who really has the skill set to actually start from the ground up, and so I think there are multiple ways to become entrepreneurs.
Exactly.
And so I'm very blessed that I got the opportunity to buy into a company that was already in existence. So what we did as a part of the management of Prime Source was really figure out strategically where did we have the opportunity to make a difference. The real reason I wanted to be an entrepreneur was because I wanted the opportunity to both make money and to create a culture where people wanted to come to work. I have this belief that I try to assume positive intent, and that some people really want to excel to go to the next level. Some people want to just do their job really well and have great balance and give you their 8 hours or whatever it is.
And then get out of there at 5.
And then get out of there, and all of that is fine. We need all of it to excel. So how can we create an environment where people bring their best, they're respected, they get what they need, the company will always get more than what they need,
Right.
and then it's a win-win for everyone.
I love what you said, assume positive intent. And that kind of it becomes pervasive throughout the company. Talk about now the organization you're involved with, the Women's Food Service Group.
Love this organization. It's for me personally, it's a great step in the next personal journey of my own development and my ability to take all the skills I've learned throughout my career. So the Women's Food Service Forum is an organization who's focused on elevating women leaders in the food service industry so that we may have gender diversity at all levels and therefore impact the industry for which we serve. We focus on really leaders, emerging leaders, what we call emerging leaders, which is probably directors through the C-suite and then on boards.
Wow.
We have a belief that if we have gender diversity at all of those levels, then our companies will absolutely be better. So how do we create that for the industries that we serve?
Is it a male-dominated industry in terms of numbers, in terms of the management percentage?
Yes, so now the percentage of women on boards as reported by Catalyst is about, I'd say in the last 3 or 4 years, between 15 and 18%. If you think of the number of women who are in our world and the number of women who are making decisions specifically about food, then you know that we probably are not adequately represented at all levels. If you think about the women who are CEOs in public companies of the Fortune 500, we think it's around 10 or 11 today. And if you think of the number of companies, then we're just not adequately represented. And it's not just about the representation, it's about, do you have diverse thought at the table so that we can excel? Because food is an industry that will be in existence.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just part of who we are. It's core of our existence.
Well, based on your research, what do you think is attributed to such a small percentage of women at the C level right now in this country in 2010? What are some things that are impacting that?
So we believe it's not a simple problem. Of course, it's very complex. It's the result of women not being in the pipeline for so long. And what we are focused on through our leadership competencies and what we call a career path progression, how do we actually move women from that kind of first management level position through the organization? It's multiple things. It's really being self-aware of what you bring to the table and the things you need to work on. How am I behaving in these environments that really help my career, and what are the derailers that do not? What actual competencies do I need to have at what level? So our organization is focused on defining those competencies for you and then actually helping you develop the skills to move through your career. And then, of course, building the networks and support system for that to happen.
Fritzi, hold that thought. We're going to go to break. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we'll continue our conversation with Ms. Fritzi Woods, CEO of the Women's Food Service Forum. This is Shivaun Palmer with Platforms, the life-lifting news program for women.